This is Cycle 3, Week 20, Science, Combination Pizza. For this lesson, you will need 4 red and 4 white poker chips per student. Those will be provided. They'll be in your classrooms. And you'll also need some of these sticky circular labels. Those will also be provided in your classroom. So to start this experiment, we are going to do the warm-up on the board. It's important that you do not start with toppings and crust options. You're just going to start with toppings for the warm-up. So for the warm-up, we're going to take away some of these chips and we're going to stay with 3. And I've already gone ahead and labeled them, and they want to label them with a C, an S, and a P. So we'll need a cheese, a pepperoni, and a sausage. And we're going to see what we can get. So if we do 1 topping, we can have 1 topping, our first choice, cheese. Our second topping, 1 choice, sausage. And our last and only choice remaining, pepperoni. Okay, so now let's do a combination of 2 toppings. All right, so we can have cheese and sausage. And then replace the cheese. We can have cheese with pepperoni. And then we can have pepperoni and sausage. Now, if we did 3 toppings, well, that's pretty easy. We would have cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. So from just these 3 choices, we can come up with 7 combinations. Cheese only, sausage only, pepperoni only. Then cheese and sausage, cheese and pepperoni, pepperoni and sausage, and then cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. 1, 2, 3. I didn't put a comma. 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now the true activity involves us adding a crust. So now they can choose thick and thin. Thick and thin. So now we want them to get 3 of the chips, and we want them to put the stickers on and label those cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. All right, so now let's check and see what our options will be. Okay, so our red is thick. Okay, so we could have a red, we could have a thick cheese, 1 topping. We can have a thick pepperoni, 1 topping. We can have a sausage, thick, 1 topping. So I'm going to move my thin down. Okay, then we're going to say, okay, boys and girls, let's see what we could get if we had 2 toppings. Well, we could have thick pepperoni and sausage. We could have thick cheese and pepperoni. We can have thick cheese and sausage. All right, so now what if we wanted all 3 toppings? Well, we would have thick cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. Now let's do the same thing with our thin. We could have a 1 topping thin cheese, or a 1-topping thin pepperoni, or a 1-topping thin sausage. We could also have a 1-topping cheese and pepperoni, a 1-topping cheese and sausage, and a 1-topping sausage and pepperoni. Okay, now what if we wanted all 3? Of course, it would be the cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. So by adding our crust option, we doubled the amount of outcomes that we could have. We could now have thick cheese, pepperoni, or sausage. We could now have thin cheese, pepperoni, and sausage if we have a 3-topping. So your task now will just be to, if time allows, that will be the crucial thing, if time allows, and it may not, but you could say, boys and girls, what would happen if we added an additional topping like mushrooms or anchovies or pineapple? Or what would happen if we added an additional crust like cheese crust? I know certain places have a crust that has cheese. So those are ways that you can elaborate to make the lesson longer if you don't have enough time. But I would say by the time you do all this, you won't have a lot of time remaining. And again, Miss Kimberly and Miss Velica and Miss Amy, you are going to do this with large ones. I will have large cutouts that you will be able to stick on your board so that they can see it. So we'll have some large white and some large red circles so that you can do this without just the tiny little chips. This is it. Week 20, cycle 3.